Hi, I'm Lisa Sabala, and I'm going to share the story of 8point8, a virtual assistant team. Now, why should you care? And is this video even worth watching? Well, if you are a solo business owner running your operations and you're struggling to juggle a million tasks, you might like to know how you can get out of the rat race you created for yourself. Because sure, you started your business as a passion project and now it grew to what it is today, but your task load also grew, right? You didn't expect that at the beginning. No one does. All these influencers and business gurus online keep telling you to follow your dreams, you do you, and all the other magic words you hear luring you out of your corporate job and into the hectic business world. But did anyone tell you that running a business is a 24/7 job? Now that you discovered that on your own, just keep watching because the story I tell could change the way you run your business. So 8point8 is a virtual assistant team made up of graphic designers, content writers, and video podcast editors. I found this company back in 2017 officially, but before that, I had at least 15-ish years of online work experience. In that time, I was a writer, a freelancer, a wannabe video editor, a frustrated dancer, and a decent piano and guitar player. I was earning an okay income back then, and life was good. Then I decided I'll make the business official. I'll go for more clients, more projects, more growth. During this same timeline, I also got engaged. I married my best friend, who is a sharp-witted, fun-loving, and artistic architect who loved to go for his dreams as much as I loved going for mine. We built a home. I gave birth to 3 amazing little boys. We adopted 2 dogs and 27 fishes. And in my career/business, I knew I had to grow. So I geared up my marketing. I booked more clients. I onboarded them. I took in more projects and almost had a mental breakdown from overworking myself. At one point, I had at least 15 clients, and I didn't take a bath for a week because I was glued to my workstation. I thought, hey, who needs a bath? They can't smell me on Zoom, right? Anyway, my point is I was so busy that I worked 80 hours a week, sometimes more. Then one day, my 6-year-old son came to me and held both my hands while I was typing on the keyboard. So I stopped typing and I looked at him. Then he said, "Mama, please stop working." That broke my heart right there. I had to change the way I'm earning a living, or this kid is going to grow up without spending quality time with me, his mother. And I'm sure his 2 younger brothers also deserve better than having an overworked mom in their childhood, right? So I talked to my husband, Lee, and he only had 2 words for me. He said, "Let go." I had to let go of tasks. I had to let go of control. I had to let go of the entitled mindset that only I can do this and no one else can. Because the truth is, no one can wear all the hats all the time. No one. So I committed to change and then started looking into outsourcing work to fellow virtual assistants and creatives. I then officially hired my first assistant, a writer whom I worked with in the past. And a week later, I also hired my second virtual assistant. The 3 of us finished more work in a week's time than I ever did in a month's time when I was working solo. This exponential productivity is wildly addictive. And my husband, with his smirky face, said, "I told you so." And I was glad that he told me so. My clients were so happy, and they didn't just make use of my skills as a writer. They also gained access to the skills that my 2 other team members had, such as video editing, podcast editing, social media management, email marketing, online course building, and more. Before I knew it, I found myself running the full operations of a virtual assistant team of 20 plus amazing humans, no robots. All humans, all living, breathing, virtual creative team members. And things were going great, and we were earning a decent enough income to sustain our respective families and personal needs. Then, on December 2021, a super typhoon hit the central part of the Philippines, which was where I lived. The typhoon was so strong, it washed large ships to the shoreline, and it wiped out acres of farmland, destroyed both small and large buildings, and it even knocked the power grid off in the major cities and turned the internet off just like that. And if you have an online business, you die when the internet dies. That's what happened to us. I couldn't log into my email. I barely was able to access social media. I wanted to send a message to fellow team members to make sure they were safe. We thought that was it. Our business is dead because we can't reach out to our clients anymore. Then, a few days after the typhoon, we heard people say there was internet connection at the mall in the neighboring city. As soon as we heard, my husband and I grabbed both our laptops and phones and we braved the highway that was covered with post-typhoon debris. We finally got to the mall and were so relieved to get an internet signal. So I started sending messages to my team members at 8point8, checking in on them, making sure they were safe and all. There were 5 or 6 team members whose areas were severely affected by the typhoon too, but the 15 other virtual assistants who lived outside of the typhoon's path, they actually kept reporting for work, like nothing even happened. 8.8 kept standing with a skeletal force, and the team kept working, and the clients kept getting their projects done. That was a huge relief because here I was trying to keep my family alive with the relief goods rationed by the local government. There was no electricity, no potable water, and no internet connection. But my team carried 8.8 all the way through. And without even waiting for my go signal, they sent out the invoices for the end of the month. And we still made a decent revenue to get by for the month of December. And we also sent out humble Christmas bonuses to the team members. It was then that I realized how strong a team can be when you train the people well enough that they can carry the operations without you having to be there. Isn't that amazing? The systems we had in place worked. 8.8 survived without a scratch even after a super typhoon passed through. So thank goodness for SOPs and loyal team members. Weeks passed by and the power was restored, the internet got fixed, and 8.8 was back in full operations again. I thought the typhoon was the worst thing I had to go through in my life, but boy, was I wrong. I was so very, very wrong. On August 1, 2002, my husband had a stroke that complicated into kidney failure. He already had a heart condition and had several surgeries prior to that. So you could say that his body took a beating for a while, and he tried to survive as long as he could. But after God says, dude, your time is up, let's go, you kind of don't have a choice. So Lee took a trip to heaven and never came back. I became a widow overnight at the age of 37. I had 3 fatherless sons to take care of, and I had no choice but to keep going. While I was physically functional, my emotional and mental states were crushed because losing my Lee broke my soul. And when your soul is broken, I don't think you should be answering customer service emails, and you shouldn't be doing Zoom calls with clients. You shouldn't even be writing sales copy for a landing page or product descriptions for a client's upcoming launch. So even if it was against my will, I took my team's advice and stopped, at least for a little while, until I came to terms with the life-changing loss that I went through. Believe me, I'm still grieving now to this day, and I don't think I'll ever stop grieving because my husband was my best friend. We did everything together. He was basically everything. And when you lose someone like that, you lose your entire world. Not to mention my 3 kids had to grow up without experiencing the amazing father that he was or would have been. While all this was happening in my personal life, my teammates at 8.8 kept pushing me away from Slack and Trello and email. And every time I tried to log in, they would DM me saying, Lisa, go away, get some rest. We got this covered. So 8.8 kept running in the background without me again. Imagine that. My virtual assistant team kept 8.8 alive as I tried to assemble the pieces of myself enough to resume my seat in the business operations soon when I'm more functional. And I look back and I recalled Lee's 2 words to me: let go. I'm glad I did let go of tasks and delegated them to the team. I'm glad that I invested time training my team members so they can take action on my behalf when I wasn't there. And I was so thankful that I scaled my business before it all happened, because I would be completely in the mud if I lost my source of income too after already losing my husband. Ironically, Lee called me a micromanager back then, but after I started delegating my first 4 or 5 tasks, you kind of never look back. You just keep going. You build a habit of passing tasks to more capable team members. And as my business was growing, I made a commitment to also grow my team that would run the 8.8 virtual assistant business with minimal involvement from me. I trained myself to let go of tasks that I do not have to personally complete. And it takes a while to get used to, but believe me, it is super worth it. I would not be where I am right now if not for the team. They are my heroes. And a lot of our clients will say the same. These are just a few of the many thank you messages and comments we get. And I'm actually proud that 99% of this is because of the amazing team members at 8.8. I can never, ever take all the credit for the wonderful messages that we got, because all of this is the team's doing. So that's how 8.8 got here and why I'm able to write my personal story in this intro video. In fact, I will not be editing this video myself. My team will. And may this video share with you what we all went through to get here. I'm sure you have your own personal experiences too that led you to have the business you are now overworking yourself with. Let's call this overwhelming period in your life the origin story of your heroic success. One day, you will stand at the stage as a keynote speaker and narrate your personal success story to thousands of people, students, clients, followers, and an immeasurable online audience. They will learn about the muddy path you had to crawl through, how you learned to delegate your tasks, to build your team, and they'll see you at the end of it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is life goes on and business should keep going if you design it to work with you as well as without you. All the frustrations you are feeling right now, it will eventually disappear. You will later understand why you have to feel this way now, why you have to feel overwhelmed and overworked, and why you have to be in tears every time you look at your to-do list, because you only have yourself to lean on in your business. But things are about to change, and you only have to make one decision when you ask yourself this: which of these tasks do I not want to do again next week? Once you have your answer, find a virtual assistant or hire a team member who can do that task for you. Train that person to be consistent with the work, and you're all set. Then when the next week comes, ask yourself again, which of these tasks do I not want to do again next week? Pick another task and delegate that to your virtual assistant. Keep doing this week after week until your entire to-do list is minimized to just a very, very essential task that only you can do as the founder, leader, and CEO of your company. I urge you to do this now with extreme urgency. Build your team. Scale your business ASAP. Your life of time freedom and financial freedom, yes, they are possible. All you need to do is to let go of your ground level business tasks one at a time until you've cleared your entire to-do list by delegating them to your team completely. Are you excited to build your legacy? Because I sure am excited for you. And I thank you for watching the 8.8 origin story. I hope to hear your story too. See you next time.